constant. So we will fix this accelerometer sensor in the shoe such that the Z pin is kept constant, and the accelerometer will calculate only the X and Y values. With the X and Y values, we can able to calculate these steps. So whenever the X and Y values calculated by the accelerometer satisfies these two conditions, the count gets incremented. The count is in the sense steps. So next is calories calculation. For this we have used the formula count into 0.028. So this value 0.028 we have chosen from the health chart. Based on my weight and height, I multiplied 0.028 with the count to get the total calories. So next is distance. For calculating distance, we have used the formula count into 0.0006. So the step that I keep, it is on an average 60 centimeter. So while converting a centimeter to kilometer, I got 0.0006. So I'm multiplying this with count for the distance calculation. So by using accelerometer module, we can able to calculate these steps, calories and distance. Third module is GPS tracker. For this we have used a Neo 6M GPS module. So this is the antenna. So when a blind person or a child went somewhere unknowingly, we can able to track their location using this module. So this GPS module calculates the position, latitude and longitude position from the GPS satellites. So next comes the Bluetooth module HC05. So this module is actually we use this module for transmitting the two sensors information to our mobile phone. So for displaying the information transmitted by the Bluetooth module from these two sensors, we have used the Arduino Android application. We included this piezoelectric power generation part in our SmartShoe project, especially for charging the mobile phone while walking, and also to power up the microcontroller board for driving all the sensors. Third, Willard cascade circuit. The circuit diagram is shown in the right hand side of the video. Each piezoelectric material is connected to each Willard cascade circuit. Finally, they were connected in series to sum up the voltage. The output of this entire circuit was given to a nickel cadmium rechargeable battery. So we started recharging the battery with 1.15 volt. Then we applied a constant pressure on this piezoelectric material to recharge the battery. It took nearly around 2 hours to obtain this 2.3 volt from 1.15 volt. I have discharged the battery and started recharging it from 0.22 volt. Then I started walking wearing this. As I'm giving pressure on the piezoelectric plate kept inside the sole, the power is getting generated. After walking for some time, the voltage get raised to 1.12 volt.
ये जरूरी है कि हम लोगों का प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीटली दिखे। सो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं, देर न करते हुए देखते हैं हम लोगों का प्रोजेक्ट कैसे वर्क करेगा और हमारा प्रोजेक्ट कैसा लगता है। तो चलिए चलते हैं थोड़ा सा पास में। दोस्तों चलिए देखते हैं पास से हमारा प्रोजेक्ट एक्चुअली में लगता कैसा है। तो फटाक से थोड़ा वीडियो में चलते हैं। तो यहाँ पे अगर हम लोग देखें तो ये रहा हमारा ऑटोमेटिक पॉली हाउस और हम लोगों का प्रोजेक्ट कुछ ये रहा। इसमें बेसिकली हम लोगों ने आर्डिनो और टेम्परेचर सेंसर थर्मोस्टेट का यूज किया है और इसको पावर हम लोग एक नॉर्मल एसी सपोर्ट से दे रहे हैं 28 डिग्री सेल्सियस से। तो ये हीटर ऑन करता है जिसमें एज ए रिप्लिका ऑफ हीटर हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे बल्ब लगा रखा है, और अगर टेम्परेचर हम लोगों को 28 डिग्री से ऊपर है यानी कि नॉर्मल है, तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली हीटर को ऑफ कर देता है, ताकि हम लोगों के पौधे हमेशा सजीव रहें और उनको एक एग्जैक्ट टेम्परेचर रेंज में वो चलते रहें। हम लोग इसकी रेंज को बढ़ा घटा भी सकते हैं। अभी हम लोगों ने इसको सेट कर रखा है और इस वक्त ये टेम्परेचर अबाउट 21 सेंटीमीटर दिखा रहा है। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने इसमें सॉइल मॉइस्चर सेंसर को भी लगाया हुआ है। देखता हूँ, मैं थोड़ा सा जूम करता हूँ, तो ये रहा हमारा सॉइल मॉइस्चर सेंसर जो हम लोगों ने आर्डिनो के ऊपर ही लगा रखा है। एंड थोड़ा सा मैं साइड करता हूँ तो आपको दिखेगा, ये रहा हमारा एक रिले जिससे हम लोगों ने वाटर पंप को ऑपरेट कर रखा है। और यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने, ये रहा हम लोगों का सॉइल मॉइस्चर सेंसर का प्रूफ। आई होप ये आपको वीडियो में दिख रहा होगा। इसमें हम लोगों ने इसको जमीन पे इस तरीके से लगा रखा है। जब भी हम लोगों की सिंचाई, अभी हम लोगों की पर्याप्त सिंचाई है, इसलिए इसमें अभी भी पंप अभी फिलहाल नहीं चल रहा है, लेकिन जैसे ही इसमें सिंचाई की कमी लगेगी ये ऑटोमेटिकली पंप को चलाएगा। चलिए मैं अभी इसमें देता हूँ। अभी देखिए फिलहाल इसमें पंप नहीं है, मैंने इसको जैसे ही पावर ऑन दिया, ये देखिए इसमें सिंचाई होने लग गई। और जैसे ही इसमें पानी आएगा या पर्याप्त सिंचाई हो जाएगी, ऑटोमेटिकली ये पानी को बंद कर देगा और ये बंद कर, और देखिए ऑटोमेटिकली जैसे सिंचाई कंप्लीट हो गई इसमें पानी को। तो चलिए दोस्तों, अब हम लोग देख लेते हैं थर्मोस्टेट की वर्किंग। तो थर्मोस्टेट इस वक्त आपको टेम्परेचर आई होप कि दिख रहा होगा यहाँ पर कि अभी फिलहाल इसमें थोड़ा सा मैं टाइम टेम्परेचर उठा था, 21.3 डिग्री सेल्सियस दिखा रहा है। तो जैसे ही इसका टेम्परेचर 28 डिग्री सेल्सियस से ऊपर होगा, ये ऑटोमेटिकली हीटर को इसे की रेंज में आ गया है। और जैसे ही इसका टेम्परेचर,
Good day everyone, I'm Kausu Basdavkar and my teammates are Ichani Chilkar, Jaston Rodriguez and Prajita Borkar, and the project guide is Mr. Shailesh Khanolkar. We are from the state of Goa and studying in Padre Kostisawa College of Engineering in the Electronics and Telecommunications Department with the aim to develop a drone for assisting the lifeguard in search and rescue operation for the coastal beaches. We have worked on a project called Lifeguard Drone. Around 30 lakh tourists visit the Goan beaches every year. These crowded beaches are prone to drowning incidents. One of the main reasons is rip current. A rip current is a strong current that moves away from the shore. The victim gets caught up in this current, rescue boats or jet ski. The reason for the also be used for search and rescue operations. It provides temporary relief to the victim by deploying a flotation device so that further rescue can. It has three main functions within a rescue situation. The first is to locate the victims and assess the situation in the least amount of time possible. The second function is to clearly identify the victim. And here are some pictures about the lifeguard drone and the electric system. The flotation device deployment system is designed to carry the floats and deploy them when the drone is near the drowning victim. The command to deploy the floats will be given by the operator. The deployment system will carry floats. To conclude, the lifeguard assist drone prevents drowning incidents on the beach. The drone deploys a flotation device which is inflated and will temporarily save the victim from drowning. The drone can handle multiple successful rescues was made. Thank you.
Concrete has always been a revolutionary material in history. From massive bridges connecting various countries to innovative household products, it has reached almost every part of the world by humans. And the most important thing, this is cheap. Every technology has its challenges. And yes, the crucial challenges in concrete technology, as well as the present world, are emission of CO2, the greenhouse gas, and construction waste. According to NASA research, the latest update of CO2 is 414 ppm, and this is higher than any level in at least past 800,000 years. The major contributors of CO2 are USA, China, and India. On the other hand, construction waste is becoming a serious environmental issue in many countries. Construction and demolition debris makes up to 10 to 30% of waste received in landfill sites all over the world. In order to overcome both these challenges in the industry, we, the students of Home Engineering College from India, have developed a project named Ozone. It was named Ozone mainly to signify the role it plays in reduction of CO2 around the world. In ozone, CO2 and construction and demolition waste is processed and converted into carbonated powder, which is then used to produce pavement blocks. This project was initiated in the month of July 2017 by a college here.
Manufacturing process. The primary process for the carbon sequestrator involves the collection of C&D waste and the trapping of CO2 which is emitted from the industries. The C&D waste are generated mainly due to the demolition of old buildings, construction of mass structures such as dams, bridges, malls, etc., and reconstructing the old buildings. In India, according to Ministry of Urban Development, the C&D waste are generated at a rate of 10 to 12 million tons annually. After the C&D waste is collected from the site, it is then fed into a shredder. Shredding is done mainly to eliminate the heavy metals which won't be suitable for the process. After shredding, the waste is then pulverized. Once the waste is converted into powdered form, it is then checked in a classifier. Classifier determines the suitability of the product for further process. The waste that passes through the classifier is then fed into the chamber, and this contributes to one input of the chamber. On the other hand, the plume gas which is emitted from the industry is trapped and then fed into a CO2 separator. As the name indicates, it separates CO2 from the rest of the gases which is contained in the plume gas. Once the CO2 is separated, it is then compressed using a CO2 compressor, and the compressed CO2 is fed into the chamber, and this contributes to the second part of input for the chamber. Inside the chamber, suitable environmental conditions such as pressure is maintained. The processing time of the chamber depends upon the particle size and the absorption rate of the particles contained in it. Finally, the output of the chamber is received from the bottom through an outlet in a powdered form, and this powder is used to make pavement blocks. For experimental purposes, we have used concrete cubes as C&D waste, and for the other part of the input, we have used carbon dioxide from the CO2 chamber. 3 different trials were carried out at different pressure levels. From the output, we have made pavement blocks, and these pavement blocks were tested against the non-carbonated blocks. It was found that carbonated blocks has more strength compared to the non-carbonated blocks.
It was observed that there was a lot of advantages by using C&D waste. Some of them are low cost, less weight, high strength, and water porosity resistance compared to conventional concrete. Also, the manufacturing method was much faster. In addition to these properties, the significant property of using CO2 from industry helps in reducing the global warming gases, and the reuse of C&D waste encourages a sustainable approach for better future. This carbonated powder obtained from the sequester can be used in wall panel, interlocking blocks, paver blocks, and roof.
Lightweight concrete table tennis bat. We made an initiative to use carbonated C&D debris and lightweight materials. We made a partial replacement of carbonated C&D debris over lightweight aggregates. The density of the bat we obtained is 1080 kg